Hi everybody, welcome to another makeover. Finally, it happened. I found a hidden gem on Facebook Marketplace. It doesn't happen very often to me because I live in a small town nearby a big city, and there's other refinishers who are hunting for mid-century modern pieces. And if something really nice for a really good price, I mean like for cheap. So if something like that pops out, I don't usually get a chance to buy it because other people can come faster than me. But with this dresser, I think nobody saw the potential in there. I thought that there was a oak veneer under this black, whatever it is, black paint. But as soon as I saw this dresser when we came to pick it up, I knew that was a treasure. That was a solid elm with a beautiful, gorgeous wood grain. The only thing I didn't know what kind of finish has been applied to this dresser. It didn't look like a paint to me, more like a lacquer. I was absolutely sure that I would have to apply my chemical stripper, but first as usual I try to scrape it. And surprise surprise, it came off so easily and it looked like a dust. Which made me think whoever refinished this dresser before me, they just applied the stain, they didn't wipe it off and just let it dry, and no other finish. Which is good for me, because I was able to scrape off the finish from all four drawers and from the body of the dresser. I couldn't scrape two carved drawers, so I just sanded them. I started with 120 grit sandpaper and I used my soft foam pad for my orbital sander. In the areas I couldn't reach with the sander, I sanded them by hand. Then I hand sanded those two drawers with 180 and finished with 220 grit. For the other four drawers and for the body of the dresser, I used 180 and 220. The only thing about this stain, it penetrated into the wood grain pretty deep, but I didn't mind it because I was going to stain the dresser with a darker color. I want to take a moment here and say a huge thank you to all of you guys for your support, for your likes, and for the comments. And if you like that type of content and haven't subscribed yet, let's change this. Just hit that subscribe button, that's free for you and means a lot to me. The legs of the dresser looked like the stain has been applied and then wiped off. But anyways, I needed to sand them, so I took them off. And then again, 180 and 220. Instead of using the stain, I decided to do a two-steps paint wash. For the first paint wash, I mixed 80% of water and 20% of paint. It's my custom mixed paint and the color is kind of like a coffee mocha color. It has a little bit of pinkish undertone and it will help me to get rid of this yellow color of the wood. And then I applied the stain to the drawers and then to the body of the dresser. And I didn't wipe it off because I applied a really thin layer and I just let it dry. Then I mixed dark brown paint I had on hand with water in 70 to 30% ratio. But this time I applied a generous amount, I let it sit for about a minute and then I wiped it off. One of the drawer sliders was broken. I just applied some wood glue to the crack and then I clamped it and I let it dry for about half an hour. And that was it. I was pretty much ready to apply a top coat. As a top coat, I decided to go for Rubio Monocoat. There are two parts, the oil itself and the activator. The oil itself could be used as a top coat, but the drying time for the oil is 7 days. But if you mix it with an activator, the drying time reduces to 8 hours. To apply Rubio, I usually use an old credit card, but it could be applied with white or gray non-abrasive pad. You gotta let the Rubio sit for about 15 minutes, and the very important step, you gotta wipe off an excess after 15 minutes. Otherwise, it will harden and you're gonna have an uneven finish. I know what I'm talking about because I've been there. And don't forget that drying time is not equal to curing time. Furniture finished with Rubio Monocoat can be lightly used in about 24 to 36 hours, but full cure takes about 5 to 7 days. I decided to use the same hardware for the piece. I just wanted to repaint those silver handles with black and shade it with brass color. While the handles were drying, I put the legs back. And if you're thinking that it is almost the end, it's not. I painted the handles, I attached them, and I didn't like it. And I decided to build the wooden ones. So it happened I had scrap piece of elm on hand. First I cut this piece in an angle, then I adjusted my saw and I made a straight cut. And then the little piece I had I cut in 4 pieces. And these are my handles. Then I sanded them, measured and drilled the holes for the screws. I stained them the same way I stained the dresser off camera, sealed them with Rubio Monocoat and then attached to the drawers. And we're done here. Let me remind you how this dresser looked before, and here's the after. In my opinion, it is a jaw-dropping transformation. What do you think? Thank you so much for watching and see you in my next video.